Finally, it's that time of the year.
My favourite time of the year.
It's the endurance season.
2 drivers, longer races and the biggest events of the year.
The Sandown 500 is a race really close to my heart. It's the first race that I ever went to back in 1986. I think I was 4 or 5 years of age. I got my first autograph from Dick Johnson, which was amazing because I was a Peter Brock supporter at heart. That day, Nissan ran 1-2. George Fury and a very young Glenn Seaton taking the win. Gary Scott and Terry Shield recovering to finish second in a Nissan Skyline that looked absolutely busted after Alan Grice fenced Scott on the back straight on the opening lap.
Nissan has won the Sandown 500 on 4 occasions. In fact, all 4 of those wins came in a 5-year span between 1986 and 1991. The usual suspects like George Fury, Glenn Seaton, Jim Richards and Mark Skaife are all part of those wins, but it was the last Nissan win that might surprise you.
Mark Gibbs and Rowan Onslow took the win in a interesting race.
Only 15 cars entered the race that year. It kind of bordered on a bit of a farce. In the end, the Nissan GTR was 6 laps up on second place and only 6 cars even finished.
Sandown's a great place to race. Traditionally, it's the very first track that I ever raced on in Australia in 1975, and I think I've gone there every year since there to some sort of meeting. I love it. I think it's a great circuit. Even the, you could say the modifications of the circuit that we have now, thoroughly enjoyable, really, really good.
The Sandown 500, I mean, I love it. It's 5 minutes down the road from my joint. I get to sleep in my own bed. I get to go motor racing on the weekends. Just got to get the results on the board now.
Sandown is a track that is steeped in history. It has that great big grandstand on the main straight that you can hear the roar of all the crowd when you're in the car, when you go past. And for me, it's where it all started. I remember watching the Sandown 500 as a little tacker, sitting in the grandstand, thinking, how good is this? And now I get to race in the Sandown 500, so it's a special time of the year for me.
Our championship is very diverse, all sorts of different race formats. And one of the most enjoyable ones is the endurance season, setting the car up for 2 drivers, trying to make the setup really easy to drive and fast for both people, the seating position, working out with your engineer what each driver wants and what they need, and trying to come up with the best possible scenario and strategy for such a long race.
It's a unique format with the 2 qualifying races. It's great to get in the car and have a short sprint race just like the old days and cement your position for the main race.
Back in the 1970s, the slogan for the track was Big Bad Sandown. And you know what? That really suited the place, and it still does today. A lot of history, a lot of action at that joint.